a $1,900 Dior jacket, private horseback riding lessons, and a life surrounded by constant luxury. This is the world of Kim Ju-ae, the daughter of North Korea's leader. Unlike other children in North Korea, Ju-ae's life is shielded from the daily struggles that most face. From her exclusive education to her high-end hobbies, let's explore the childhood of a girl that has known nothing but luxury since birth. Early years of privilege. Kim Ju-ae's childhood has been incredibly different from the lives of most North Korean kids. While North Korean children grow up in a country where resources are scarce and daily life is often a struggle, Ju-ae has lived in luxury since birth. She has never had to experience food shortages, power cuts, or any of the other hardships that ordinary families in North Korea face. Her father, Kim Jong-un, has surrounded her with a lifestyle filled with privileges and comforts that many in the country can't even imagine. In North Korea, life for most children is tightly controlled and focused on loyalty to the state. Schooling is heavily regimented, with an emphasis on the country's strict ideology. And entertainment is usually limited to state-approved shows and activities. Children learn from an early age that they must follow strict rules, show respect to their leaders, and are taught to revere the Kim family as if they were above everyone else. Most kids wear the same kinds of clothes and don't have access to things like international fashion brands or toys from other countries. But for Ju-ae, things are entirely different. She's been seen wearing outfits from Christian Dior, which costs thousands of dollars, and even wears accessories from Gucci. She is chauffeured around in luxury cars and lives in expansive homes filled with high-end amenities. Her family has several private compounds with gardens, pools, and even personal movie theaters. Her world is one of constant comfort and indulgence, sheltered from any form of struggle or need. While regular children in North Korea eat basic meals, Ju-ae's diet is likely much richer. Her father is known to have extravagant tastes, importing fine foods from around the world despite international sanctions. Ordinary kids might have a hard time finding enough food, but Ju-ae has access to whatever she could want, including imported delicacies that are unheard of for most people in the country. The stark difference is a reminder of how isolated her family is from the daily realities faced by the rest of the population. She also enjoys leisure activities that are way beyond the reach of normal children. While other kids play in small, crowded public parks or engage in limited sports activities, Ju-ae might have access to her family's private swimming pools, horseback riding facilities, and other exclusive hobbies. Her father has a love for basketball, so it wouldn't be surprising if Ju-ae has been exposed to the sport in ways that only the wealthiest and most powerful can access. In many ways, her life is like a bubble designed to keep her comfortable, entertained, and safe from the outside world. Unlike the average child who might only hear about luxury through the rare, censored glimpses of foreign media, Ju-ae lives in it every day. She doesn't have to worry about power outages or cold winters without heating, which are a common issue faced by ordinary families. Her family's compounds are equipped with backup generators, central heating, and everything needed to stay comfortable year-round. Ju-ae's childhood, then, is not just privileged, it's a completely separate world from that of other North Korean children. While they live under the watchful eye of the state and face daily challenges, she has the best of everything, thanks to her father's power and wealth. If you thought that was over the top, wait until you hear about her education. Forget ABCs. This kid's learning how to rule a nation before she's old enough to drive. Exclusive education and hobbies. Kim Ju-ae's childhood education and hobbies are in a completely different league compared to other North Korean children. While most kids attend regular state-run schools where they're taught about loyalty to the country and the Kim family, Ju-ae's schooling is anything but ordinary. Her education seems to be exclusive and private, likely with personal tutors and lessons designed specifically for her. Regular schools in North Korea are strict, with long hours spent learning about the country's ideology, and the students rarely learn anything about the outside world. In contrast, Jue's education might include subjects that North Korean schools don't even touch on, like foreign languages and global history. Most North Korean kids don't have access to much beyond what the state provides. They wear the same uniforms, read the same textbooks, and follow a rigid schedule that includes patriotic songs and exercises. Jue, however, is likely studying in a more comfortable setting away from crowded classrooms and under-resourced schools. With private tutoring, she probably has the freedom to learn at her own pace, diving into topics that are carefully chosen to suit her future role. This type of education is a privilege that only a select few in North Korea ever experience, and it's tailored to set her apart from everyone else. Jue's hobbies also reflect this life of privilege. While most North Korean children have limited recreational activities, Jue is said to enjoy horseback riding, a hobby that requires not just space, but also a lot of resources. Horseback riding is a luxury in North Korea, where many people can't even afford basic transportation. Yet, Jue likely has access to well-kept horses and facilities, giving her the chance to practice a skill associated with royalty and power. Her father, Jong, has often been seen on horseback, and it seems Jue is being raised to continue this tradition. This activity isn't just for fun. It also carries a strong message about her family's status and heritage. In addition to horseback riding, Jue might also have pets that are more for companionship than practicality, which is unusual in North Korea. While many families in the country keep animals for farming or as a source of food, the idea of pets as playmates is mostly limited to the wealthy elite. Having exotic pets or even just domestic animals as pets is a luxury that shows how far removed her life is from ordinary North Korean kids. On top of these hobbies, Jue likely has access to other modern forms of entertainment, something that's extremely rare in North Korea. Most children in the country don't get much exposure to movies, music, or technology. State control over the media is tight, and the few shows they watch are propaganda-filled. Jue, however, may have access to foreign films and music, which are forbidden for ordinary people. It wouldn't be surprising if she has the latest gadgets or access to a private collection of movies that are carefully vetted to suit her father's standards. For Jue, leisure isn't just about playing outside or spending time with friends. It's a way to reinforce the special place she holds within her family and her country. Her hobbies, like her education, are planned to build an image and prepare her for a life that's worlds apart from other children in North Korea. While regular kids in her country might play with simple toys or run around in public parks, Jue's world is filled with expensive pastimes that are all about luxury, privilege, and showcasing her family's power. High fashion choices. Kim Jue's fashion choices have made her a walking symbol of North Korea's elite luxury, showing off an extravagant lifestyle that's far removed from the daily struggles of ordinary North Koreans. One of her most talked about appearances was when she wore a $1,900 Christian Dior down jacket. This high-end brand, well known worldwide, is out of reach for most people in North Korea, where many struggle to afford basics. The sight of her her lavish style goes beyond just clothing. During another public appearance, she sported Gucci sunglasses, which retail for hundreds of dollars. These sunglasses are a clear symbol of status and wealth, reinforcing the image of a lifestyle filled with exclusive privileges. At a missile launch event, she wore a pink fur coat, likely made from mink, which is a rare and expensive material. Fur clothing is almost impossible for the average person to obtain, given North Korea's limited economy and the international sanctions on luxury goods. Yet for Jue, these items seem to be just part of her regular wardrobe. What makes her wardrobe even more striking is how closely it mirrors her father's taste. Kim Jong-un is often seen in tailored outfits and luxury accessories, including designer watches that cost tens of thousands of dollars. These public displays of luxury have sparked both fascination and criticism. On the one hand, her style shows how different her life is from that of ordinary North Koreans, who generally wear simple, uniform-like clothes. On the other hand, it has drawn attention to the stark contrast between her privilege and the hardships faced by most people in North Korea. With much of the country's population living in poverty, her display of luxury items serves as a reminder of the vast gap between her and the average citizen. International observers have noted how her wardrobe contradicts North Korea's public stance on bourgeois and capitalist influences. Joue's luxury fashion is more than just about looking good. Each appearance reinforces the Kim family's image of unshakable wealth and control. In a country where power is often symbolized through grand displays, her designer clothes and accessories send a clear message. The Kim family is above the rules. They have access to everything they want, while most North Koreans face tight restrictions and limited resources. Joue's life of luxury might seem perfect, but there is a catch. It's all happening despite international sanctions. How does the Kim family manage to keep the caviar flowing when the rest of the country is cut off? Let's find out. Living luxuriously despite sanctions. Kim Joue has been seen wearing expensive brands like Dior and Gucci, showing off a life of luxury that seems untouched by international sanctions. Despite rules meant to cut off North Korea's access to high-end goods, Joue's wardrobe and lifestyle tell a different story. She and her family are clearly still getting whatever luxury items they want. This raises questions about how effective these sanctions really are, and reveals just how much power the Kim family holds. One of the reasons Joue is able to enjoy this luxury, even with sanctions in place, is that North Korea's status as a nuclear power makes it challenging for other countries to enforce any strict rules. The threat of nuclear weapons allows the Kim family to bypass some of these restrictions and gives them an upper hand in securing luxury goods. Even when UN-imposed sanctions that target items like fancy cars, designer clothes, and other high-end imports, Joue's access to these things hasn't slowed down. The family's collection of luxury cars is a perfect example of how they operate above the rules. Despite restrictions on importing vehicles like Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, and Mercedes-Benz, these cars still make their way into North Korea, often through smuggling networks. Reports suggest that they use a mix of complex routes and shady deals to ensure they get whatever they want. Many of these cars, especially the customized ones, are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, putting them far beyond what any regular North Korean could afford. They highlight not only wealth, but also the power the family has to access whatever they desire. Beyond cars and clothes, the Kims also seem to have no problem bringing in luxury foods that are impossible for ordinary North Koreans to access. While most families rely on basic rations, Joue's household reportedly dines on imported delicacies, including fine cheeses, wines, and even caviar. These items are banned as part of the sanctions because they're classified as luxury goods. Getting these goods into the country is no easy feat, yet the Kim family has managed to establish a system that lets them keep their hands on the best of everything. Some reports say they use routes through countries like China, which might be willing to look the other way to maintain their relationship with North Korea. In some cases, goods are mislabeled or hidden within shipments of other items, making them harder to detect. This entire process shows just how determined they are to maintain their lifestyle and avoid any consequences of the sanctions meant to curb their spending. Most kids have a jungle gym in their backyard. Jue, she's got her own private military parade ground. Let's watch as this pint-sized protege takes her first steps towards world domination. Symbols of future power. Kim Jue's appearances at North Korea's military events are striking, especially since they are carefully planned and highly publicized. She first appeared along Kim Jong-un at the launch of a long-range missile in late 2022, an event that seemed to mark her introduction into the public eye. Since then, she has attended several military events, always at her father's side, watching missile tests and participating in military parades. Her presence at these events suggests a significant role, particularly as North Korean media often refers to her in terms usually reserved for leaders. One of the most notable events was the military parade in February 2023, celebrating the 75th anniversary of North Korea's armed forces. Jue was seen interacting with top military officials, who treated her with a level of respect usually reserved for senior figures. It's unusual for children, especially girls, to be given such visibility in North Korea, so these appearances stand out even more. While she walked with her father, the cameras captured every moment, showing a young girl being groomed in an environment filled with soldiers, tanks, and missiles. She has also earned nicknames that carry weight in North Korean culture. After one military event, she was called General Morning Star in state media, a title that ties her to her great-grandfather, Kim Il-sung, who led the country's early revolutionary efforts. These titles aren't given casually. They hint at a future in which Jue might be expected to uphold her family's legacy. Being seen at these events also places her at the center of North Korea's military image, linking her identity directly to the country's weapons programs. The way Jue interacts with officials suggests she's already being introduced to the inner workings of North Korea's military. During one event, a general was seen whispering to her and clapping alongside her as if they were sharing a moment. This kind of interaction is unusual, as North Korean leaders typically maintain a distance from others, especially the military elite. Her participation in these events seems to be crafted to send a message that she's a crucial part of the family's ongoing power. There's also a strategic angle to her appearances. By having Jue at these events, Kim Jong-un could be signaling to the public that the family's rule is stable and that there is continuity. Given that North Korea's identity is so closely tied to its nuclear arsenal, her presence at missile launches and parades could also imply she's being linked to this power at a young age. It's as though she's being placed in these settings to build an image as someone who will eventually carry on the family's military legacy. Jue's missile launch selfies might be breaking the internet in North Korea, but how is the rest of the world reacting? From Seoul to Washington, everyone's got an opinion on North Korea's precious daughter. Public and media reactions. Kim Jue's public appearances have sparked varied reactions across South Korea, China, and within North Korea itself, highlighting different perspectives. In South Korea, the National Intelligence Service, NIS, shifted its stance in 2023, suggesting Jue as a probable successor after initially downplaying her role. South Korean media now sees her presence as possibly being part of Kim Jong-un's strategy to display a stable future. This has raised questions among South Koreans about how this could affect North Korea's leadership, with some media suggesting it's more about showing off stability than setting her up for leadership. Inside North Korea, public reactions are harder to gauge, but underground reports reveal mixed feelings. In border regions where locals sometimes get information from Chinese networks, people are curious and even puzzled by her sudden prominence, as most North Koreans face daily hardships. While some people are intrigued by her rise, others feel uneasy, questioning if yet another Kim family member taking charge will bring any real change to their lives. Chinese state media has remained mostly neutral, focusing on her public appearances without adding much interpretation. However, on Chinese social media, platforms like Weibo offer a glimpse into the curiosity among the public. Users have commented on how Zhu Wei's visibility signals a shift from North Korea's usual secrecy. Some wonder if this indicates a change in leadership style, while others see it as an attempt to project unity within the regime. In the United States, analysts have noted that Zhu Wei's presence at events may be a calculated move to demonstrate continuity in leadership. This has led to speculation that Kim Jong-un is using her to show both North Koreans and the world that his family's power is secure. Some US observers are surprised that North Korea is putting Zhu Wei in the spotlight, given the regime's history of secrecy around family matters. If you thought your Instagram feed was carefully curated, wait until you see how North Korea handles Zhu Wei's public image. It's time to dive into the propaganda machine that's turning a little girl into a living legend. Carefully crafted media image. In North Korea, Kim Zhu Wei's portrayal in state media is carefully managed to present her as both young and important. Her appearances are crafted to fit a narrative that positions her as someone with a significant role, despite her age. She is often dressed in clothing that mirrors her father's style, such as long coats and fur collars, which adds to a sense of authority beyond her years. This styling choice isn't random. It's meant to draw a direct connection between her and Kim Jong-un, signaling continuity within the Kim family while presenting her as a future leader. State media refers to her with titles like Noble Child and Precious Daughter, and these words are chosen intentionally to set her apart. She has even appeared on commemorative stamps, which is unusual for someone so young in a regime that typically keeps children of the ruling family hidden until they're adults. These details, like her inclusion in a special photo album during a military parade, are part of a strategy to elevate her public image within North Korea. It's a contrast to how the world views her appearances, with curiosity and skepticism. But inside North Korea, the state wants people to see her as a child with a purpose. This portrayal, however, has sparked mixed feelings among North Koreans, especially those near border areas who sometimes access Chinese media. Reports from these regions suggests that some North Koreans, especially younger people, find it strange and even uncomfortable to see Zhu Wei on TV so frequently. While most children are shown in school uniforms or simple clothing, Zhu Wei appears in luxurious outfits, which stands out against the reality of everyday life for most citizens. People notice the difference, and this only deepens their sense of separation from the ruling family, highlighting the differences in lifestyle and privilege. In China, the coverage is more neutral, with state-run media avoiding deep speculation. However, on platforms like Weibo, some Chinese users have expressed their curiosity about Zhu Wei's role. Her polished image has raised eyebrows, with discussions focusing on how odd it is to see a child presented as a key figure in a government so centered on secrecy. While Chinese media does not openly critique this portrayal, public discussions reveal an awareness of the stark contrast between her life and the everyday lives of North Korean children. Zhu Wei might be stealing the spotlight, but she's not the only power player in Pyongyang. Let's see how she stacks up against North Korea's other elites. Spoiler alert, being Kim's kid comes with some serious perks. Her role among North Korean elites. Kim Zhu Wei's position among North Korea's elite is carefully designed to set her apart, even compared to other top figures within the regime. While her aunt Kim Yo-jong has long been visible as a senior advisor and a significant power, Zhu Wei's role is more mysterious and symbolic. Her treatment by North Korean elites hints at a special status, one that goes beyond just being part of the family. At key events, Zhu Wei has received a level of respect from military leaders that's usually reserved for high-ranking officials, despite her young age. This kind of deference is rarely shown to anyone other than the highest elite, like Kim Yo-jong or top generals. But seeing it directed at a child suggests she's viewed as more than just Kim Jong-un's daughter. For example, while elite figures like Choe Ryong-hye, who is considered one of the most powerful people in North Korea, command respect through their positions and work, Zhu Wei's influence seems based on her unique place within the Kim family. Unlike other prominent elites, Zhu Wei doesn't hold any formal titles or official roles. Still, her appearances are packed with symbolism that ties her closely to the family's legacy. This early public presence contrasts sharply with the typical path of North Korean leaders, who usually remain out of sight until they're adults. Zhu Wei's visibility could be a way for Kim Jong-un to signal continuity within the Kim dynasty, and her interactions with elites indicate she's seen as someone who could play a role in the future. Additionally, comparing Zhu Wei to North Korean elites shows how different her path is. High-ranking figures like Pak Jong-chon or Ri Pyong-chol, who are key military leaders, built their influence over years of service. Zhu Wei, however, seems to have this influence simply by virtue of her family ties. Her regular appearances at significant events may be Kim Jong-un's way of reinforcing her importance and making it clear she holds a special place, even among North Korea's highest ranks. And there you have it, the lavish, unreal world of Kim Zhu Wei, where luxury knows no bounds even in one of the most isolated countries on Earth. If you thought her life was shocking, you won't believe the lengths North Korea goes to protect its secrets. Want to find out more? Check out our next video, 6 Reasons Why You Shouldn't Mess with North Korea. You don't want to miss this one.